Let's talk about 5 things that I love about my Kimbo camper. What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. Sitting here in my Kimbo camper today, and I've compiled a top 5 list of things that I absolutely love about this thing. Now, this list could be super long and I could go into like the nitty gritty details about every little thing. I've kind of hit on a lot of that stuff in my initial walk around video and all of the other videos that I've made about this camper. So instead of getting super specific, I'm just gonna kind of lump together like broad general ideas of things that I love about this camper, and we're just gonna list them off. So let's kick things off with number 5. One of the things that I absolutely love about the Kimbo camper is the size of it. Now, this is really going to be my personal opinion. A lot of people will think that the Kimbo is too tall depending on what truck you put it on. A lot of people will not like the weight of it. But from my perspective, all of the research that I've done on a bunch of different campers out there, of course, landing on this one, I knew the pros and cons of going into it, but I absolutely love the size of this thing. One of the things that I always try to get people to sort of grasp about this type of camper is really getting on the inside of it. If I'm passing people on the road and they happen to know me or my videos, or even if I see people at a gas station and they express a lot of interest in what this thing is, it's really cool from the outside, and videos and photos never do it justice, but I always try to get people to come to the inside to really experience the size of this thing, how much space you actually have inside of this camper. It is very deceptive. Even when you're seeing it in person from the outside, you would think that you don't have a whole lot of space in here, but with the layout and everything, it is super roomy and open. I could easily live in here full time by myself. I think you could get away with a really long trip with 2 people if you know how to live and work with each other inside of a small space. And at the same time, this thing is not too big, so it's kind of like the perfect size. It's perfect for how I use the camper, which is really to just get out, go on ski trips, go up into the mountains, and have all of the comforts that I want and need, like warmth and water and a refrigerator, a place to cook, a place to sit down here at this desk and do some work. It's just like the perfect size. And no matter how many photos or videos I post, it's really hard to show the size, but that's why I try to get people inside of these campers so they can experience the size and layout and space for themselves. Now, number 4 on my list, I have something that actually is pretty specific, and it is this mattress back here. So this is a stock mattress that you can get from Kimbo directly when you are placing your order, and everything in here is completely customizable. You could actually get one without this, but this mattress is insanely comfortable. It's better than any rooftop tent that I've ever tested. It's better than the mattresses that I've tested out in my van. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, but this thing is more comfortable than my mattress at home. It could be the environment that it's in. It's very quiet in here. We have like plush walls and everything. It's very warm and homey in here, but the sleep that I get on this mattress is phenomenal. If I lift it up, there's actually a condensation pad underneath here, so you don't have to worry about condensation getting underneath the mattress and like ruining any of the materials underneath there. It's sort of like a box spring with a memory foam topper all combined into one, and it's about the size of like maybe between a full-size mattress and a queen-size mattress. So I sleep up here with my girlfriend and my dog plenty of nights that we've done that, and as long as the puppy isn't keeping us awake, we sleep absolutely great in here. My girlfriend also agrees. Anyone who even just comes in here and lays on the mattress and sits on it, I feel like most people agree that this mattress is insanely comfortable. So that is one thing that I absolutely love about the Kimbo. Now for number 3 on the list, the propane heater from Dickinson. I've done a full video on this in the past talking about the pros and cons of it. So this is truly something that I really, really love about the Kimbo, but at the same time, it does have some downsides to it. Overall, I absolutely love this though, and if I was speccing out a Kimbo differently, that is one of the first things that I would put in here, the mattress and the Dickinson heater. Now, when it comes to heating up a space like this, there's obviously a couple different options. A lot of people prefer a diesel heater, which work great. I also love diesel heaters. It produces a nice warm heat and it doesn't introduce any condensation into the area. And with this Dickinson system, it basically does the same thing. The heat and all the combustion is self-contained, and then it just takes the heat from that contained unit and then it blows a fan across the heat to disperse it throughout the inside of the camper. The thing works really well if it's ever super cold out here. I have no issue with running this thing full time. The way they designed the exhaust vent on the roof, it's never going to blow out unless you're in some like crazy wind conditions. I've been in some crazy wind conditions and I've never had it go out on me. It is insanely efficient at the same time too. I've been running the same 30-pound propane tank since I picked up this camper back in, I believe it was April or May. I am gonna have to fill that thing up soon, but I've been running this heater quite a lot and it's super efficient. It does the job. And of course, the best thing why I really love it is because it looks cool, it's small, but when that flame is burning, you can actually see it. So when you're inside of the Kimbo on a snowy night, it's just dumping out there. You can sit in here, drink a cup of hot chocolate, and just basically sit here by the fire because it's like a fireplace. So it really just ties the whole interior together. It's just sort of like an ambient light there, and I absolutely love the heater. Now for number 2 on my list, I have the simplicity, the layout, and the overall ease of use of this camper. This perspective is of course coming from me having lived in a Sprinter van for about 2.5 years on the road traveling the country, and there's a lot of intricate pieces that go into a full-blown camper van build. You have a lot of electric components, you have a lot of plumbing components, and when things get very complex like that, you can run into issues that end up being very hard to solve. So the simplicity aspect of this thing is something that I love because there's really nothing that can go wrong with this that I can't immediately spot and fix myself. In some kind of RV or van style build, you have plumbing running behind walls and you can't see where the actual water is coming from. You can't see your tank. So if things freeze up in the wintertime, pipes can break and burst and you're just running into just like headaches and headaches. Whereas I look over here at my sink and I can see my tank, I can see the one tube that runs up to the hand pump faucet, and then I can see the drain tube, all here in one confined little area. It's so simple because I don't have to winterize the camper. When this thing is parked and I'm like maybe traveling around in my van, or if I'm just not camping a whole lot, I don't winterize this thing. I leave the water in here, I let it freeze, and it's not going to break anything because the water is not filling up the lines. If it does freeze, I can tell by simply looking at it and like knocking on the side of the tank. And even if for some reason there was water in those lines and it broke, it would be super easy to fix because it's just so accessible and I can see everything. The same thing goes for the power system over here. I can pull out this power system in about 5 seconds and I can see what each component of this camper is connected to. The lights are on an AC plug of its own. There's a bus bar on a AC plug of its own, which runs things like the fan of the Dickinson, the fan in my roof, as well as some of the carbon monoxide detectors and everything else on the floor over here. And then there's one simple plug for the fridge. So if any of these components are not working, I can simply look at my power unit, find that wire, see if it's connected, maybe the AC power is turned off. And in the worst case scenario, if something maybe like comes loose, I just pull the battery out, look at the bus bar terminal and figure out what came disconnected. I can trace problems very easy. To go along with the simplicity, we just have baskets here instead of cabinetry. So these things are just simple. I don't have to worry about hardware coming loose and creaks and rattles and stuff like that because it's just so simple. I can see everything that I have here in the camper, and it really sort of takes minimalism to the next level. And then when it comes to the simplicity of the actual layout of this thing, here I have a desk. If I'm not using the desk, I push it and it slides away. Now I have all this room here. I can prop my feet up, kick back, and take a nap in the little like reading nook over here. The layout of the storage, like I mentioned, the baskets, I have baskets that just sort of like pop out here so I can see right in here. I can remove this basket entirely and reach down inside to grab whatever I may need. And then there are little things like this wooden wall divider between the bed and the living area, and then also this metal divider between the teak entryway and the rest of the living area. These design choices were put in place really to give separation to the different areas so it actually feels like a different area. Do you really need this type of separation? No, you could probably get away without it. However, just having a little bit of extra material there designed in the way that it is, it really distinguishes the different rooms of this camper, if that makes sense. And for most people, it really doesn't make sense until you get inside one of these things. But when I'm laying in the bed, this little bit of separation up by where we keep our pillows, it just feels like, okay, now you're in like the bedroom area. When you step inside, you have this teak entryway with a little bit of metal lining everything. And that little bit of separation makes you feel like you're in like the mud room, like that's a separate storage area and it keeps all the dirty stuff away from your living area. And then the ease of use just ties all into that stuff. Everything in here is just insanely easy to use. Someone who is brand new, has never stepped foot inside of a camper before in their life, can figure things out insanely easily. And now, sort of piggybacking off of number 2, we're gonna jump right to number 1, and that is the build quality, these things being built in the United States, all of the quality components that you will find in the Kimbo camper, and most importantly, the opportunity for repair. As a lot of you guys know, these Kimbo campers are hand built up in Bellingham, Washington, and they are built with the opportunity for repair. So when you look at the simplicity of everything and the layout, like we just talked about in number 2, another reason why things are built like the way they are inside of the Kimbo is because they want users to be able to repair them. It's not like just about every other RV and camper and basically any product out there where companies don't want you to rip apart your walls to fix plumbing and stuff like that. They want you to like go into a dealer. I understand that in certain aspects. However, when it comes to something like this, it is super nice that they allow you to repair things on your own. I always bring up the example of these wall panels in here. If I were to burn, scratch, or like stain one of these wall panels, I actually have done this already. This wall panel down here underneath the bench seat was stained, and what I did was unscrewed all of the little fasteners, I pulled it off, laid it flat, and I was able to sort of scrub it clean. In a situation where you can't clean it and you actually do have to replace it, all you have to do is get a new panel and throw it in the old panel's place. Same thing with all of the wood in here. If I like ding up my countertop here above the Dometic fridge, all I have to do is take out a few screws, have a new piece to drop into its place, something that I could probably very easily make myself, and I could completely change this. I could pull apart most components in here and completely build one from scratch, and that is why buying a Kimbo shell is one of the options. You can buy a completely blank slate in here and build things out yourself. So not only can you build stuff for yourself, but if you do order any options, Kimbo gives you the opportunity to repair this stuff yourself, which is probably my number 1 favorite thing about the camper. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning, I could go on and on about things that I love about this camper. I often get people asking me in like DMs and emails, they're like, do you really enjoy the Kimbo? And I don't know why people think I would be lying about this or stretching the truth, but I seriously love this thing. It fits my lifestyle, especially in the Colorado winters. I built my truck specific for like this whole project and having a Kimbo back on here so I can travel around and go ski and see the country, explore new places. I can go faster and further with the Kimbo on here because it's simple and it's nimble and you can live out of it. So I don't know how else to tell you guys how much I love this camper, but I truly do. And there are 5 things that I also hate about the camper. Kind of hate about the camper. So we are going to cover those in the next video. If you guys have any questions right now about the 5 things that I love, or if you have questions about anything specific inside of this camper, let me know in the comments down below and I'll try to answer anything as best as possible. If you're new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe because I make new videos every week, and you guys should definitely stick around for the 5 things that I hate about the Kimbo camper. As always, thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you in the next one.